Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good evening, everyone. Kelly, can you record with your handphone? Yeah, can you record? Because sometimes this might just record with your handphone. Yeah, just voice recording. Yeah, voice recording. Okay. Okay. Previous week we discussed about sexual misconduct, right? Sexual misconduct. In details. Today we'll continue to discuss about this topic, especially in. I will say that most of the Buddhists, most of the Buddhist schools, they tend to discuss homosexuality as a sexual misconduct. Most of the Buddhist schools, I hope that you may heard, right? You may heard. Most of the Buddhist schools. Homosexuality is a kind of sexual misconduct. Some Buddhist schools even said that like a oral sex and anal sex considered as a sexual misconduct. Some of the Buddhist schools. So actually, when you look at the Pali Canon, we cannot find such discussion, So therefore, the case of homosexuality is not found in the suttas, in the Pali Canon. That is very important. Even in Theravada, But when you look at the commentary, especially the commentary of Cakkavāttisayanada Sutta, Digha Nikāya, we can find the traces of interpretation as a Theravada that say homosexuality is a kind of misconduct, but not directly, indirectly. So therefore, when you want to know the opinion of the Buddha, so we have to look at the suttas. That's very important. So the case of homosexuality is not found in the suttas. Therefore, we cannot say for sure that the opinion of the Buddha on this issue. So, and also we can look at the case of some cases in Vinaya Pitaka. Then we can find the opinion of the Buddha regarding with the homosexuality. So in the Vinaya Pitaka, so there are some story that some monks, so their gender became change, Some monks, say they ordained as a monk, as a maid, as a monk. For some time, their gender became changed as a female. So this was reported to the Buddha, and the Buddha said that You can go to nunnery. If you get 5 vasas, 5 years of a monk, then you can become a 5 vasa as a nun, right? It's very, when you look at this story, we can see, the opinion of the Buddha regarding with the gender or sex, right? Similarly, some women, they ordain as a bhikkhuni. For some time, their gender change, their sexual phenomena change as a male. And also the Buddha also taught to them, you can go to monasteries. You become as a bhikkhu, monk. So wherever year they got as a bhikkhuni, so the year of vasa can be added into a monk life, the life of a monk. So we can see, patience and also understanding of the Buddha. So when you look at the Sutta, especially the Suttas are more important, even more important than Vinaya Pitaka. So we can't find any explanation about homosexuality. So therefore, later I think I will talk about it a little bit further. Because nowadays I think it is important for us, right? Buddhist or non-Buddhist, homosexual, the case of homosexuality is getting very loud, very loud, even in Singapore, Because as you all know that the laws, rules and regulation in most of the country are influenced by Western laws, right? So those Western laws are laid down based on core religions, especially Christianity. According to the Bible, the God create male and female, right? Man and women. So looking at that, they claim you cannot become a gay or you cannot become a lesbian. No same-sex marriage like that. No homosexuality. So the most of the core religion, so they consider homosexuality as a sin, a very severe sin. How about in Buddhism? Buddhism normally is very liberal. As I earlier discussed, when you look at based on 2 important principles in Buddhism, like the owner, we are owner of our own karma. As a monk, I wear the robe. If I do unwholesome karma, I will suffer for that. My robe cannot protect. Man or women, anyone, we are owner of our own karma. So based on that, we are equal. And also enlightenment, or knowing the Four Noble Truth. Whether you are man or woman, no differentiation. If you follow the Noble Eightfold Path, you can attain enlightenment. Mahayana beautifully said that everyone has potential to attain enlightenment. Everyone has Buddha nature, right? Buddha bija. So for that, everyone me, we don't need to exclude, gays or lesbians, anyone, anyone. So in my earlier lessons, I discussed based on 2 principles, homosexuals or gays or lesbian. So they also have the potential to attain enlightenment. So that's my point of view. So what we can say that everyone is equal according to the Buddhist perspective on the ground of the law of karma and the nature of enlightenment. Actually, this is a very controversial issue, even among the Theravada. So normally when you ask Theravada monks, most of them, they will say that homosexuality is a kind of sexual misconduct. So they will quote, normally they quote a statement from the commentary of Cakkavatti Siyanada Sutta from Digha Nikaya. So in that sutta, the Buddha just mentioned in the Pali Canon, the Buddha just mentioned that because of misconduct, bodily, verbally, and mentally, the lifespan of the people decrease, So in one place, the Buddha used the word, Attamaraga. Attamaraga means, unreasonable lust. People will have a lot of lust. And Wismaloba means it's also a kind of unreasonable greed, loba. And the last one is a Mecha Dhamma, wrong Dhamma means the nature, So here is not a Dhamma means not the teaching. Mecha Dhamma means Mecha means wrong, right? Dhamma means the nature of things, wrong things. The Buddha just say Mecha Dhamma. The commentary interpret Mecha Dhamma means people will have a sexual intercourse with the same gender, like a gays and lesbian, like that. So we also find the same explanation in other commentary, the commentary of Anguttara Nikaya. But the commentary of Anguttara Nikaya does not interpret in the same way, The same Pali, Mecha Dhamma, the commentary of Digha Nikaya mentioned it is a kind of sexual intercourse between two men, and also a kind of sexual activity between two women, like that. But the commentary of Anguttara Nikaya do not mention, in such a way. For that reason, the case of homosexuality cannot be found in the suttas. That's quite sure, quite sure. So there is no evidence in the suttas to say that homosexual relationship as a layman, not for monastics, as a layman is a breaking the third precept in the suttas. I will not say in other sources. Some of the sources, especially in Mahayana, they clearly say those suttas are considered as a later development. They clearly say that homosexuality and also anal sex and oral sex, etc., these are considered as a sexual misconduct. Third precept. Even the Dalai Lama write in his book, according to Buddhist sources, he referred to the writing of Asanga, Vasubandhu, These are famous, Buddhist monks in ancient time. So, citing all these sources, the Dalai Lama write that other than, normal sexual intercourse, like we can use a peanut veggie intercourse, it is in normal one. If you do other way of sexual intercourse, it's considered as a sexual misconduct. So, but when you look at the suttas, no mention about that. No mention about that. Some scholars said that such cases, having intercourse with the same gender may not be popular yet at the time of the Buddha. But I don't think so, because when you look at the Vinaya Pitaka, we have some of the Vinaya rules, so the first Vinaya rule, especially sexual intercourse for man, clearly said that wherever way you you have a sexual intercourse with the women, whether oral or anal or in the vagina like that, three places. Clearly said that. So therefore, the Buddha knew all these one, The Buddha knew all these one. But anyway, no evidence to say that homosexuality is a kind of breaking that precept. So in the modern day, so there is no certain conclusion that homosexuals were genetically born as a lesbians, as a gays, or bisexual, etc. Even now, I think nowadays, discussion still going on. Some say that homosexuality is inborn, gay born with the gay gene like that. Some say that it's not an inborn one; it's a nurture, It's the effect of the environment, Environment. So there's no certain conclusion yet. As far as I read, I'm trying to read most of the sources, because this is a very important topic for everyone nowadays, right? Even in Thailand, future Prime Minister is saying that if he become a Prime Minister, he will allow same-sex marriage, right? Same-sex marriage. So he is still very young. In Asia, only Taiwan allowed same-sex marriage. The other country, no, right? But as you all know that Western country, laws are laid down based on religious belief regarding with homosexuality, right? Even United States, Mr. Obama, right? So he announced, the right for the same-sex marriage. So that's the important topic for us, whether it is homosexuality is a violation of that precept, sexual misconduct. But according to, actually, this is my point of view, and also based on the suttas. So there's no mention about homosexuality. So here, just mention, you need to get approval from guardians, right? Guardians. As long as your parents allowed, should be okay. If it were true that homosexuals were born with the gay genes, it is fair for them to choose their own sexual partners. So this is my own opinion. I'm not promoting homosexual this case, this case, because some people may think that our Bhante is promoting. No. Of course, homosexuality is not good, of course. Not normal, right? It is abnormal case. I think it's not right to say, it is a kind of sin, It's a kind of sin. No, sin, the word sin is very serious, Of course, it's not good. It's not good. So a man left a woman. That's normal, right? That's normal. A woman left man. So they have a sexual relationship. It's okay. It's all right, right? All right. Normal. If somebody become a gay, very difficult to get a partner, right? It's very difficult to get a partner. And also more difficult to get married. But for me, it is fair for them to choose their own sexual partners if they was born with the gay gene, Gay gene. But they have to be faithful to their partner, just like heterosexuals. If they misuse sexual activities, it will be sexual misconduct for them. Suppose they get married, two men get married. They have to faithful each other, right? So if they have an intercourse with another person, then a kind of sexual misconduct. Horrible. So this is a based on their sexual relationship. If they became homosexuals because of sexual abuses or the impact of environment they live in, they should seek counseling. Actually, of course, I say homosexuality is not good. Actually, we have to accept that, right? It's not a normal one. Some people, according to some, how can I say, what they call it, psychologists, right? According to science psychologists, they think that they became homosexuals because of sexual abuses or because of the impact of environment. It's also quite possible, it's quite possible. So they should seek counseling. Even if it is not cure, Buddhism can accept. Early Buddhism, I would say that. Early Buddhism can accept their existence and their life with the sympathy and compassion. The Dalai Lama even write about this in his book. He said that everyone has the right, to choose their own partner because it's sympathy and compassion. And he said that he cannot change the text because the text say in this way, so therefore he write what the text say. So the text he referred to is the text written in the 4th century AD, about 900 years after Buddha passes away. Suttas are considered as the early sources, early teachings of the Buddha. So therefore, when we are talking about early Buddhism, it refers to the suttas from Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Saṃyoga Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya. and some of the books from Khuddaka Nikaya. Khuddaka Nikaya. But I want to say, according to Abhidhamma. So, as you all know that, Abhidhamma also considered as a later development. It is a kind of commentary. But Abhidhamma is very powerful. People consider as teachings of the Buddha, teachings of the Buddha. But it is a kind of commentary. I have discussed about this in my Abhidhamma lessons, and those who want to know, you can listen to my lesson, the first and second lesson of Abhidhamma teaching. So I think why I say Abhidhamma is a kind of commentary. So according to Abhidhamma, we have two types of sexual phenomena, only two types, femininity, etibhava rupa, another one is masculinity, bhava rupa. Simply, it is men and women, men and women. Femininity, masculinity, men and women. But what is interesting in Abhidhamma is said that it is not just sex organs. Femininity is not just sex organ. It's spread all about the body at the basic structure of sexual orientation. It's very important, It's very important. According to Abhidhamma, femininity is not just sex organs. So therefore, when you look at some lady, so they have femininity, sex organs, but their mind is not, their mind is not. So, some women, they act like a man, right? So what the Abhidhamma says is very beautiful. It's not just sex organs, it's spread all about the body. Also, in accordance with the suttas, I have already seen one sutta, in English, union, I don't know whether you have read. So I will talk about it later. And also one important thing, according to Abhidhamma, so femininity and masculinity are inborn material phenomena. We were born femininity, We were born as a masculinity. Very interesting. When you learn Abhidhamma, you will know that. So there are three types of material phenomena when you have the first time in life. One is body. Body is, of course, tiny liquid, according to Abhidhamma, tiny liquid. That's body. Another one is either femininity or masculinity. Another one is heart, your heart. Hariya. So as soon as you were born especially as a man, as a human being in first life, you have it will be consist of three type of material phenomena. If you become a woman, femininity and body, and another one is your heart. So, in the Western science, they are still discussing whether it is inborn or nurture, still discussing. But according to Abhidhamma, it is the inborn material phenomena. And also it is important, it's not just sex organs, right? So I will quote this sutta, According to Saṃyoga Sutta, Saṃyoga means bhikkhu body union. It consists of material phenomena, consists of femininity and masculinity, number one, faculties. Faculty means the body, eye, ear, nose, tongue, the body, etc. If you are a woman, feminine faculties. If you are a man, masculine faculties. Not just, Of course, sex organ is under the faculty, right? Under the faculty, under the body. So we can say including gene, gene. Then number two is comportment or behavior, So as a man, so he has a, distinct behavior, When they are young, they want to fight and they want to use the guns, etc., This is the nature. Especially women, girls, they want to play like a trading, etc., like that, So different kind of behavior. So here, some people may have feminine organ or sex organ as a woman, But their behavior may not be like a woman, like a man, right? Like a man. Some men also, so their behavior will be like a woman, women. When I discuss about this with the medical daughter, and she said that actually what Abhidhamma says is logical. In medical science, so there is one borderline, borderline. Whether you have a feminine gene or masculine gene, etc. Some may be missing, Some may be missing each other, So therefore, some guy, So they have a feminine behavior, feminine voice. Another one is appearance. Some men are like women, especially when they are young, when they are young. And also appearance here is the way they live, the way of movement, the way of clothing. It is influence of gene, According to this suttas, influence of feminine gene or masculine gene. Another one is a aspect, the nature. Then desire. So here, homosexuality, right? Homosexual people, even though they were born as a man, they may have a desire to man, not opposite sex like that. So therefore, Abhidhamma says that femininity or masculinity is not just sexual organs. It consists of all these one, And also vice and ornamentation. According to Abhidhamma, it is a inborn, inborn, according to Abhidhamma. But Abhidhamma is not taught by the Buddha. It is commentaries, kind of commentaries. So maybe medical science or psychologists, maybe one day they will find, they will be able to decide whether it is in nature or nurture, nature or nature. So when you look at this, we can understand a little bit about homosexuality, right? Even though somebody born with the male sexual organ, they may have desire to same sex, right? They may have the appearance of or behavior of a woman like that, the way they think, the way they thought. So we can understand Saṃyoga Sutta. Normally, I want to translate as an attachment. Saṃyoga means attachment. With Saṃyoga means detachment. So the Buddha used two terms in that suttas. Attachment to femininity faculties, feminine faculties, or attachment to masculine faculties, or like that. So the Buddha just talked about attachment and detachment of female and male on their feminine faculties, comportment, appearance, aspect, desire, voice, ornamentation, and masculine faculties, comportment, appearance. So when you study the life of homosexuals or gays or lesbians, so they notice certain age, right? Some notice that when they are in the high school, some notice when they are still very young, like that. Maybe they may have, in their body, even though they are man, he may have a lot of femininity, right? Nature, like he. If we study Saṃyoga Sutta, we can assume that gays and lesbians also have capability to change their sexual orientations. When you look at the Sutta, the Buddha said that people, they look at their sexual orientation, or they look at their, their faculties. As a man, he like his body, his voice, his movement, etc. Seven kind, seven kind. And also, as a man, may have attachment to opposite sex, right? That is Saṃyoga, attachment. And as a woman, they have attachment to their faculty, their comportment, appearance, voice, ornamentation, etc. And also, they look at outside and they have attachment to men, like that. That what they have to do, the Buddha said that they have to try to drive away the attachment internally and externally. So what we have to do is, so therefore the Buddha quite often say not to have attachment to your body, right? To your voice, etc. If you don't have any attachment to your body, especially femininity or masculinity, you don't have any attachment to outside, internal, femininity or masculinity. So the main point, what the Buddha says is like that. Trying to detach inside, internal, sexual orientation, or external sexual orientation. Not only that, and also appearance, voice, ornamentation, etc. Etc. It talk about, we have to try to transcend self-identity view. Self-identity view, Sīla. Normally, according to Buddhist teaching, there's no man, no women. That means no gays, no lesbians. Only Namarupa, right? Mind and body. If you transcend self-identity view as a man or woman, as a gays or lesbians, you can attain enlightenment. You can attain enlightenment. If you cannot transcend your identity as a man or woman, you cannot attain enlightenment, right? So therefore, gays also, homosexuals, any type of sexual orientation, if they can transcend self-identity, then they can attain enlightenment. So therefore, if you want to become Sotapanna, you need to overcome Sīla, self-identity view. So, for that reason, some even Buddhist schools said that gays cannot attain enlightenment. If you want to attain enlightenment, you need to have another life as a man or woman. So you have to make a wish to be born as a man or woman. Then only you can attain enlightenment. Right? But when you look at what the Buddha taught in that sutta, right? If you can transcend self-identity view as a lesbian, gay, or homosexuals, any type, So we need to transcend sexual orientation, right? Even normal people. Then only you can attain enlightenment. But there is one logical argument about this. The reason why they say gays or homosexuals cannot attain enlightenment, the reason is they have very strong passions or strong attachment, strong lust. Because of that, they cannot, they cannot practice the Dhamma because their mind has full of lust or full of attachment. Maybe, some gays may have such behavior, right? But I think that's the reason why some Buddhist schools, especially some of the Mahayana schools, if I say Mahayana, it's not very nice. Theravada also. I would say that only early Buddhist, Buddhist teaching, or only early Buddhism. When I write homosexuality is not a sexual misconduct, then some monks, especially monks, so they will respond to my writing, to my writing. Of course, need to have a lot of evidence. So we always say, right? No women, no man, no person. What we have to do is we need to transcend self-identity view. Then only we attain enlightenment. So that means everyone has potential to attain enlightenment. So everyone has, there are some gays. I know that there are some gays. They are very good. They're very good. So they are all know their own karma, right? Some gays. But nowadays, I think it is very hot issue. some say that we shouldn't promote this case, So therefore, nowadays, human right, people always say human right, because of that. So we need to deal with such a problem, I heard that even Singapore government trying to have a discussion with some religious leaders, including Buddhist leaders. Okay. Any question about this topic, or if you have if you want to discuss about this, yeah, you can. If you disagree with me, okay. That's just my personal point of view based on the suttas, and also based on some of the things in Vinaya Pitaka. Okay.
Bhante, can a gay become a bhikkhu?
Cannot. Because as a bhikkhu sangha, we need a clear image for the public, right? If we allow gays as a bhikkhus, then so there will be a lot of distraction, a lot of distraction. But of course, if we allow gay sangha community, okay, separate, should be separate, right? Should be separate. So in the US, there is one organization, they call it Gay Buddhist Fellowship. So there will be one organization, So those gay Buddhists, so they will meet there and they will follow teachings of the Buddha. This is also serious issues. When I was young, I think 80 or 90 years old, as a samanera, my teacher allowed a gay to ordain as a monk. I don't know whether he knows or not. That he tried to approach me, trying to touch my body, etc. Earlier, I didn't know. So only trying to, obvious. It's one issue, a very big issue, very big issue. So if a gay ordained as a man, as a monk, stay among the monk, big problem. So for that reason, the Buddha prohibited to allow them as a monk. It doesn't mean they cannot attain enlightenment. No, they can practice. The Buddha normally look at the opinion of the public. When you read the Vinaya Pitaka, you will know, people cut the trees. The monks cut the tree, then people complain, when they are killing a kind of living being, And the Buddha laid down one Vinaya rule. As a monk, not allowed to cut the trees like that. So actually, the Buddha knew that the tree doesn't have any life, but the Buddha look at the opinion of the public. Okay. Maybe I think I shouldn't say that. According to Vinaya, it's not allowed. Any question? Over there. Okay.
Yes. One day, the fact that there is no direct comment or decision by the suttas or Abhidhamma on whether LGBT is good or no good, is wholesome or unwholesome, it could be because during the time of the Buddha, there was no problem of LGBT in the Indian society. Could it be correct?
So, but there are some stories in the commentaries. Now, of course, it's not found in the suttas. The commentaries, as well as Vinaya Pitaka. So, commentary explanation says that somebody became LGBT because of their past karma. Especially, they break third precept, sexual intercourse. Suppose a man commits sexual intercourse, sexual misconduct, then quite often likely to be one of the LGBT next life, according to not direct teachings of the Buddha, but commentary explanation like that. Even Venerable Ananda, he break third precept, and he became a woman, like that. One incident at the time of the Buddha. One time, Venerable Kachayana was taking a shower in the river. So he was, after taking a shower, he came out of the water and standing on the bench, trying to dry his robe, exposing his upper part of the body. Then one of the rich men came to that place. He saw the body of Venerable Kachayana. It's green color, It's, what is complexion? The complexion of Venerable Kachayana. And he think that, wow, very beautiful body. If he were my wife, wow, like that. So mentally we're thinking. Because of that, actually Venerable Kachayana is an arhat. Because of his wrong thinking, his sexual organ changed to women. So he was really ashamed of his behavior, and he dared not to stay in his hometown. He went to another place, and he got married with the man. Got some children, one or two sons, right? 2 sons, you remember. From Dhammabhara commentary. Then later he met with the Venerable Kachayana again, and he, apologized for his misconduct. So after his apology, then his sexual organ changed as a man, man. So he saw changes, a lot of changes in his life. Then he decided to become, he would like to ordain as a monk. He ordained as a monk. Then a lot of monks is asking him. So before he became, before he get female sex organ, he also got married with as a man. He have a son children. How many? 2 sons, right? Then after he became a female, how many? Also 2, right? Also 2. The monks always ask. He already as a monk. So the monks always ask. The people always ask. Bande, as a man, you have 2 children. As a woman, 2 children. Which one you love most? Monks and people always ask, Then later he became very disappointed. All these, inquiries. Then he moved to a quiet place, he meditate, and he became an arhat, right? Arhat, I think. But I'm not quite sure because it's a very long time I study. So, in this case, even the commentary said that, it's all right, it's all right. Okay, so
But from this story, it seems to imply that it's not all right to engage in homosexuality, because he was thinking of he was a man, and he was thinking of this venerable, what a nice body he has, and what a nice body he had, and because of that he became a woman. Yeah? So
Yeah.
there's an implication that this sutta at least is saying that it's not
not
correct.
Sutta commentaries.
This is not in the
Dhammabra
sutta, in the
commentary,
commentary.
not suttas, not suttas. Dhammabra commentary.
This story is in the commentary.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So in other words, the commentary is saying that it's not quite correct.
You're right.
Yeah.
So the commentator, normally, not only commentator, and Theravada monks, they have opinion that sexual activities with the same sex considered as a sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
Sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
But of course, we shouldn't say homosexuality is good. No. We shouldn't say it's bad. It's not good. It's not to say bad. Not good. Right? It's not good. But it's not a sin, If you are a sinner, you cannot do anything, right? No. According to, when you look at all these ones, it's not a, they are not sinners. It's not good. If you can change your sexual sexual orientation, it's good. But if you cannot, you can still be eco-Buddhist, right? Eco-Buddhist. That's very important point. Okay. Okay.
Good evening, Bante. My question is probably a little bit different.
Okay.
Is sexual activities, this involves lust, lobha, of course, hampers the developments of spiritual being, like for example, in terms of samatha or vipassanas, in terms of the progress? Does this actually hampers the progress?
Hamper me control.
Actually, obstructing the progress.
Sorry?
Obstructing the progress.
Hinder.
Hindering the progress.
You mean hinder the samatha and vipassana?
Yeah. Or vipassana.
I think it depends, It depends. Of course, if a gay is thinking about sexual activities or less, full or lust, may not, it will be hampered, hinder, for the spiritual progress. But there are some good gays, even mine, even some of my, students, they are gay, but very good Buddhists, very good Buddhists. So it depends, Of course, the degree, may be different, Some, when they see the same, even as a man, when they see a very big guy, they may have their attachment to that guy may be very obvious, Some may be able to control it. And let's say, even normal people, right? Normal men and women, if their mind is full of lust and full of lobha, it will hinder the spiritual progress, So we have to understand in such a way. So it not depends on the sexual orientation. It depends on the degree of defilement in their mind. Okay, so I want to discuss one more topic, same-sex marriage, same-sex marriage. In Asia, only one country, as you know, Taiwan. Now, Thailand, and on the way, I don't know whether the future Prime Minister, Mr. Pita, if he became Prime Minister, likely to, because Thailand, gay community is very powerful, very powerful. And many gays became monk in Thailand, in Thailand. So it is acceptable, They say before 1980s, and only after AIDS, cases appear in the world. So there is, against, origination of gays, origination of gays in Buddhism, in Thailand Buddhism. So there are some argument, even right now, so there are some influential Buddhist monks, so they are going against, ordination of gays as a monk, Because of that, there are a lot of, public opinion because of that. It tarnishes, the Sangha order, Sangha order. Okay, so same-sex marriage, I think one day we will encounter, this topic one day, because nowadays, the way for human rights is very powerful, especially it comes from the West. How about this topic? So Buddhism consider marriage as a mere secular affair. It has nothing to do with the religion. That's very important facts. Because most of the religion, they regard marriage as a one kind of connection with the religion, right? The religion. If you do not get married in their religious institution, it is not considered as a official marriage. Buddhism is, but nowadays, even in the West, so they are promoting marriage or same-sex marriage or wedding ceremony as considered as a secular affair. Nothing to do with the religion. But of course, so the religious teaching is, in other words, religious culture, customs, very powerful. In their unconscious mind, they still consider as a wedding or marriage as a kind of religious practice. Buddhist monks are not allowed to solemnize a wedding. That's a very important one. It's mentioned in Digha Nikaya, Brahmacariya Sutta. When the Sutta talk about morality of a monk, clearly said that Buddhist monks are not allowed to solemnize a wedding. And you cannot become a lawyer, as a Buddhist monk to get married. No, not allowed. But in our temple, we have a wedding blessing. So people get married, then they can come to temple, and we bless them to have a good marriage life. So last year, our secretary announced, so we are going to start wedding ceremony. I told her, no, it's not a wedding ceremony. Blessing, marriage blessing. That's very important. If we are using wedding ceremony, no, we are not allowed to do that. According to Brahmacariya Sutta. Brahmacariya Sutta. So therefore, it is an individual choice to perform all these secular affairs. Whether you want to do same-sex marriage or heterosexual marriage or wedding ceremony is secular affair, nothing to do with the Buddhism. Buddhism, that's very important one. So because of that, nowadays in the West, there are some problem, right? Some problem. If the two people in the same religion get married, not a problem. But two people from different religion get married, how? How they will do it, right? If the other party is very strong, strong religion, so they want to do their wedding ceremony in their own religious institution, right? So there will be a lot of problem. But according to Buddhism, no. Everything, wedding ceremony, marriage, secular affairs, like a naming ceremony or anything. Most of the things are secular affairs, right? So therefore, in the West, there are a lot of problems regarding with the religious fanaticism. So people are trying to go against all these ones. So because of that, some people are killed because of that, So nowadays, they have a lot of, together with democratic values, so they start to see these are secular affairs. I think starting from 18th century, 19th century. Okay, so this is regarding with the same-sex marriage. So Buddhism will consider as a secular affair. You can do whether you want to do it. It doesn't matter. So even though you get married with the same-sex partner, as long as you are faithful to your partner, it's okay. It's okay. So I will not consider the explanation of commentaries. I will not consider that. It's not a very powerful argument. Even, two commentary does not agree each other, Okay, any question regarding with the same-sex marriage? Or? Okay, so we may have a different opinion regarding all these one because some people have a very, very strong opinion that homosexuality is a kind of sexual misconduct. But for me, not taught by the Buddha, we cannot find anything about homosexual case in the suttas. Okay. Then I will go to another teaching, another topic, leading a celibate life. So this is from Saṃyoga Sutta. So this is for monastics, not for lay people. Now I want to distinguish between monastics and lay person. So in Saṃyoga Sutta, it talks about for monks. Having abandoned in celibacy, he lead the holy life for celibacy. In Pali, we call it Brahmacariya. He means monastics, not for lay people. He dwells aloof from women. Bhikkhuni, she dwells aloof from men, like that. And abstain from vulgar practice of sexual intercourse. So we look at from monastic perspective, not for lay people. As a monastic, sexual intercourse is considered as a kind of vulgar practice, So we have to refrain from that. as a member of Sangha community, it is a must to practice total restraint of any sexual activities, not only sexual intercourse, and any type, even to enemies. Such restraint is called Brahmacariya, literally holy practice, or is a celibacy. As a Sangha member, so we have to refrain from any type of sexual intercourse, sexual activity, not only intercourse, sexual activities. So, sexual intercourse is called Brahmacariya. So that means, how to say, Vagga practice, Vagga practice. A lay devotee who keep a precept also have to refrain from any type of sexual activities, particularly sexual intercourse. So therefore, if you are keeping a precept, we normally encourage participants to refrain from touching with the opposite sex, even their spouse. Of course, sometimes you may need to touch, but need to control, not to have any emotional attachment, So therefore, monks do not shake women, right? Normally, Theravada monks, we just do that, We're not shaking women's hand. You need to control, right? You control. So as a monk, it's very important. Especially some Tibetan monks. I think most of the Tibetan monks, they trying to shake hand. And also even they hack women. Even the Dalai Lama, right? Dalai Lama is okay, he can control. But there are many, there are many Tibetan monks. They have a lot of sexual, sexual abuses, because of all these contact with the women. It doesn't mean Theravada monks also do not do that. No, Theravada, of course, Theravada also a lot of they may have some sexual abuses or sexual news, but less because of Vinaya rules, because of Vinaya rules. Sensory desire is one of the hindrances that block the way to attain jhana and nibbana. Sensory desire. It doesn't. Sensory desire is not just sexual intercourse, but also from sensory desire from 5 sensory doors, right? 5 sensory doors. So in the first sermon, so the Buddha advised bhikkhus to avoid 2 extremes. So one of them is indulging in sensual pleasures. Sensual pleasure here is not just sexual intercourse, it also enjoying sensual pleasures with your body, with your eye, ear, etc. But sexuality is regarded as a gross sensual pleasure. So therefore, as a monk, we need to refrain from sensuality. To lead a pure celibate life, just abstaining from engaging in sexual intercourse is not enough. Not enough. One must refrain from any form of sexual activities in the body, far away, mental or elsewhere. So therefore, in the Vinaya Pitaka, you are not allowed to touch women, not allowed to see women with the vagga, very sexual speeches, etc. Not allowed to do that. So when you look at Methunasutta, clearer is, Buddhist teachings regarding with the sexual activities. The name of the sutta is Methunasutta. Methuna actually means sexual intercourse. It refers to sexual intercourse. So this sutta provides the example of the activities so that are connected with sexual intercourse. So they are called the born of sexuality, Methuna Saṃyoga, the born of sexuality. So this one is for monks, for monks. But if you keep a precept, you need to take note this one also, a precept. So therefore, in this sutta, Brahmin asks the question to the Buddha. Does Master Gautama also claim to be one who lives the celibate life? And the Buddha answered, if Brahmin, one could rightly say of anyone, he lived the complete and pure celibate life, unbroken, flawless, unblemished, unblotched. It is precisely of me that one might say this. That means the Buddha lead pure celibate life, flawless. So therefore, when you look at the 9 quality of the Buddha, so the first one is arahant. Even in secret place, the Buddha do not do any wrongdoing, any wrongdoing. Flawless. Then the Buddha said, for I live the complete and pure celibate life, unbroken, flawless, unblemished, unblotched. Then the Brahmin asks question, but what Master Gautama is a breach, flaw, blemish, blotch of the celibate life? So here, the flaw of the celibate life. If you want to become a monk or a nun, so you have to look at this one. Then the Buddha talk about 7 bonds of sexuality. So these are the flaw of a celibate life. The flaw of celibate life. Number 1. So actually, of course, as a monk, he refrained from sexual intercourse, but he engaged 7 bonds of sexuality. It is the flaw of a celibate life. It's the flaw of a monk. One consent to being raped, massaged, bathed, and kneaded by the opposite sex. One relish this, desires it, and finds its satisfaction in it. So that means it's very important, right? Physical connection with the women or physical connection with the man. Not allowed to do so. If you do so, it's a flaw of celibate life. When you Google the title, In the Name of Enlightenment, there's one documentary. So that talk about a monk, a Tibetan monk, so misuse religion, so to trying to deal with so many women. So one of them trying to speak up and go to coach, right? Coach. But he is very powerful, Tibetan monk, very powerful in the parish, and he has a lot of branch in the West. So the lady trying, So according to her, a lot of women surrounding him, It's the flaw, it's flaw of man. So therefore, we always say that there are two enemies that can kill a man: women. Another one is money. Money. So it can kill too, as a monk. So if you have too much attachment to women and money, then the life for a monk will be destroyed. So here, not only sexual we need to refrain from sexual intercourse, but also connection, physical connection with the women, right? Another one is, number 2 is one jokes and play with the opposite sex, amuse oneself with them. Oh, right. This one also, need to control. Not to, you can talk to women, but how to say, you like to talk to them so much, joking, amusing with the opposite sex, right? This one also a kind of flaws. The flaw of monastic, I say monastic. The number 3, one gaze and stare straight into the eye of the opposite sex. Not allowed to. So if you are staring at, opposite sex, then it's a flaw of the monastic life. The flaw of the monastic life. So therefore, normally, we do not look at the audience normally. You may see that when you are chanting, right? The monks have to look at the audience. Normally, we close our eye. We do chanting. That will be safer. That will be safer. Otherwise, it will be the flaw as a monastic life. But now it's quite natural, quite natural that we look at the audience, the students. But in earlier time, in Myanmar, when we are giving a talk, we cover with the fan, You will not see my face. I will not see you. You will just listen to my talk. But that tradition is still followed by Sri Lanka, right? And Thailand. Thai monks, especially, in the Pali line, you will see that. So when they are giving a Dhamma talk, they cover with the fan, It's very beautiful. In earlier time in Myanmar also, we follow. But nowadays, rarely follow. No. Only a few monks, they follow that. They cover their face so that they can control their eye, So if I look at the students, then if I stare at one person, wow, beautiful. That is the flaw, the flaw of a monastic life. So therefore, not just sexual intercourse, but also all these one. So we need to follow. Another one is when you observe a precept, you can practice, right? You have to practice this one also. One listen to, actually here, number 3, right? Then number 4. One listen to their voice behind a wall or through a rampart, if they laugh, talk, sing, or weep. The Buddha said in Anguttara Nikaya, so the first sutta in Anguttara Nikaya. As soon as, Anguttara Nikaya opened, the Buddha said that. The voice saw, the appearance of women is the most appealing things for men, So if you cannot control your mind, it will draw all your good things, Similarly, as a woman, the appearance of man is the most appealing, attracting things for them. If you cannot control that, it will draw all your good things like that. So therefore, also we need to control our ear. not to listen to the boys or women, opposite sex. So therefore, monks are not allowed to listen music, right? Music is very enticing or appealing for men. Then, number 5, one recollects laughing, talking, playing with the opposite sex in the past. When a monastic is thinking about his past, why he was a lay life, he was talking to, laughing at his girlfriend or boyfriend like that, right? It's a kind of flaws. No thinking about girlfriend or boyfriend like that. Then number 6, one look at a householder or a householder son enjoying himself, furnished and endowed with 5 causes of sensual pleasures. Somebody came with a very expensive car and invited the monks to go to his place, or luxurious house, enjoying with a lot of sensual pleasures. Then the monk, if he think, wow, if I stay in such a house, if I have such a wife, then it will be very good like that. It is the flaw of monastic. No, we don't have to think about that. We have to think about that. So therefore, when we meet couple who are enjoying each other, then we have to control our mind, control our mind. But of course, when we are young, we need to control. But right now, and it became habit, no need to control, because we don't have a very rare case, to have to see all these one. Okay, so the Buddha said that it is the period of wapu for a monk. So therefore, when you look at all these people who are enjoying sensual pleasure, then he also want to enjoy sensual pleasures. That it became a wapu for him. So they were disturbed. And the last one live spiritual life aspiring for rebirth in a certain order of devas, thinking by this virtuous behavior, morality, Sīla, observance, austerity, or spiritual life, I will be a deva or one in retinue of the devas. So if you are practicing monastic life, monastic practices, if you are leading monastic life just to become a Brahma, is a flaw, The next life you want to become a Brahma. Even this one, becoming a Brahma is considered as the flaw of monastic life. So you have to practice monastic spiritual life, spirituality, or teachings of the Buddha, just to liberate from all kinds of suffering, including the life of Brahma, the life of Deva, the life of human being, etc. So therefore, don't try to have a desire to be born as a human being or as a Deva, even as a Brahma. Here, Deva is not only 6 heavenly realms, are also in the Brahma realms. Deva. So when you look at this, I think we can understand. You can, take a look at the life of a monastic, right? The life of a monastic, how they need to live, It's not from Vinaya Pitaka. It is from the Suttas. Suttas are more important than Vinaya Pitaka, more important than Abhidhamma Pitaka. So these are the guidelines laid down by the Buddha, right? So we have to follow it. Okay, if you have a question, one question if you want. Okay, Mr. Tan.
To the same problem of LGBT. Now, the fact that LGBT was not mentioned in the Sutta, some people think that therefore Buddha wasn't against LGBT. I don't quite agree with that argument. I don't quite agree with the logic. Why? There are many kinds of sexual perversion. I give you one example. A human being having sexual intercourse with an animal. That is not mentioned in the Sutta. Therefore, we cannot conclude that it is all right for a human being to have a sexual intercourse with an animal. And there are many, many other forms of sexual perversions. Yeah. Agree?
I think, therefore, I repeated that I'm not saying LGBT is good. No, it's not good. It's not good. It is the result of past karma. Past karma. We are talking about same-sex marriage. No? Suppose, according to most of the religious teachings, if a man, a gay, want to have a sexual connection or sexual activities with the man, of course, it is not normal, it's not good. But what I want to say is they are not sinner, you know. They are not sinner. And it is not sexual misconduct. Kamesu mechachara. That's main point, you know. How to say, engaging sexual misconduct, sexual activities, sexual intercourse with the same sex is not good. It's not normal. The first point, you know. That's what the first point. Then, second point, it is not sexual misconduct. The Buddha didn't say having sexual intercourse with the same sex. The Buddha didn't say that it is sexual misconduct. No, it's not a sexual misconduct. It's not a kamesu mechachara. It will not give the result to have a rebirth in unlawful destination. Suppose two men, they love each other. One is gay, another one is a man. They get married, or maybe they stay together. They are faithful to each other. There's nothing wrong. Of course, it's not good. I'm not saying it's good, no. Nothing wrong to have a sexual intercourse within these two men. No? It will not create any unwholesome deed, no? To go to hell or to go to animal realm or petas. So as long as they are faithful to each other, it is all right. It's all right. Nothing wrong. But it's not a good thing, of course. If two opposite sex get married, that will be the normal one. It will be the best. It will be the best. So here's 2 points. One, how to say, homosexuality. So how to say, same-sex marriage is not good, number one, not good. But it is not sexual misconduct, you know. It's not a sexual misconduct. Two men have a sexual intercourse. It will not, you know, it is not a very heavy, you know. I would say that it's not heavy sexual, it's not a sexual misconduct. It's not sexual misconduct. But It's not a normal one. That's very important point, and two things, right? The Buddha is not saying it is good, no. It's not a normal one, normal case, but we need to practice compassion and sympathy, you know. According to Abhidhamma, they were born with a kg, right? Kg. I think it's possible. If they were born with a kg, so they may have a attachment to the same sex, but I think it is fair to say that they can do so. So that's my point of view. So the Buddha never say in the Sutta sexual intercourse with the same sex is a sexual misconduct. That's main point, you know. That's main point. Okay, so I think time is up. So thank you for discussion. Maybe if you have a question, then you can write to me through WhatsApp. Then maybe next week I can discuss it. Yo varatam bhavaro manu jesu sakyamuni bhagavakata kecho parakato bala vidiya samangi Tan sukatan saranatamu ragavi ragamanincamasokan Dhamma masangata mapatikulan Madura mimam pagunan Dhamma mimam saranatamu pemi Yatacha de nama apalamahu Chatusu sisu purisa yugesu Atacha pogala dhammata sate Sangami mansara natamu pemi Sadhu. Good night, everyone.